Hey guys, welcome back to another Humble Bundle review. It looks like they're putting out a second Star Wars bundle and I bought the first one, so I should like the second one. Let's take a look. So with the recent release of Episode 7, there's a lot of new and old fans that have rekindled their love for Star Wars. It's a great time to release a second bundle, a follow-up to the first one that came out last year. So let's get right into it with the first tier. The first game, Star Wars Rebellion, is a 4X strategy game. The 4X genre typically stands for Explore, Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate. This game takes place after the destruction of the Death Star. You take control of either an Empire or Rebel commander, and utilize colonization, espionage, and diplomacy to expand your control, then find and eliminate your enemies. If you've played games like Master of Orion, or like the 4X genre, this is a solid game. Next up, Star Wars X-Wing Alliance is a space simulation combat game. In this game, you play as a pilot, whose family ends up joining the rebellion. As a rebel, you become entrusted with the command of the Millennium Falcon and other ships to combat the Empire. The great thing about this game is that the combat is still sound even if the graphics have aged. Some scenes take place between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. The prequel to X-Wing Alliance, X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, is regarded as one of the most historic space combat simulators of all time. Originally, the game was released solely as a multiplayer game, with free-for-all, team, and co-op modes, but this release includes the Balance of Power, which included its very own storyline. Have you ever played Age of Empires? Then you'll see some familiarities here. In Galactic Battlegrounds Saga, you get the game and expansion of the same name that were made by Ensemble Studios. This is a real-time strategy game that lets you play as multiple factions and utilize resource management, army efficiency, and tactics to ensure victory. As a fan of both Age of Empires and Star Wars, I 100% recommend this title, and the reason why is because it's Age of Empires with Star Wars factions. That's amazing. For those of you who browse Humble often, most of you should be familiar with Humble Monthly. It's a subscription service of $12 a month that nets you a random selection of games each month. Think of this as a 10% off coupon, which is $1.20, which makes up for the cost of the $1 bundle anyways. I think it's funny how the Beat the Average tier has the prequel to two games that are in the $1 tier. However, the X-Wing Special Edition is the first of the original space simulation combat games on PC from the Star Wars universe. Again, it's always nice to have the entire trilogy to complete your collection. Definitely take this into consideration when buying the bundle. Now this is starting to seem like a great bundle for those who want to put themselves in the seat of a Star Wars pilot. This sequel to the X-Wing game puts you as a pilot for the Empire, where you not only face rebel forces, but also pirates and Imperial traders as well. The best thing about this game is that even though in the eyes of the audience you're working for the Empire and arguably evil, you're depicted as keepers of peace and order. It's a weird contrast. Knights of the Old Republic. It's a highly acclaimed RPG by BioWare that takes place 4,000 years before the Empire rose to power. As the last hope of the Jedi Order, you gain allies and further your strength to save the Republic. Alternatively, you may also succumb to your power and join the dark side. If you've played other BioWare games, you'd be familiar with the RPG aspects of the game, and that it utilizes D&D role-style combat. The sequel takes place 5 years after the events of Knights of the Old Republic. Despite your efforts in the first game, the Sith Lords have brought the Jedi to the brink of extinction once more. As a lone Jedi, struggling to regain your power of the Force, it's once again up to you to rise against the Empire or join them. The gameplay is similar to the prequel, but there are technical changes that improve the combat and interface. In addition, decisions the player makes affects the teammates as well. This and the prequel make the Beat the Average tier quite worthwhile. If you haven't had enough Star Wars in this bundle, or you missed out on the other bundle and want more games, this 75% off coupon makes buying the individual games that much more affordable. Don't forget to use this coupon in the future. Massive discounts and 10% Again, I'll be able to comment on the games next week at 2 p.m. EST when they are announced. I'll make a separate video and link it to an annotation that you can click the question mark box to access. I suggest holding out on buying games with the coupon until you know what's included.
Say no to typos as you punch in your email.
The first of the $10 tier is Empire at War. This is another real-time strategy game that takes place between Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Episode 4, A New Hope. This game includes a Rebel and an Imperial campaign, which has two distinct storylines. One downside to obtaining the game now is that since GameSpy was purchased, all game servers have been closed, limiting multiplayer capability. I know what you're thinking, LEGO Star Wars? No thank you. But you'd be surprised, as this game has great gameplay and goes through all 6 Star Wars movies. There's no lack of content or depth to the levels. Another great part of this game is that it has a 2-player co-op capability, which is great to sit down with a friend and play through the entire Star Wars saga. I've always wanted to get into the LEGO games but never wanted to pay full price for them. Essentially, I'll be paying $4. I typically mention this a lot, but assume you're paying $25 for a t-shirt with a design on it. If you really want, you can print a custom one for that price, or go to a comic book store and buy one for much less. This is just my opinion though, and this is an exclusive design, so don't hesitate on it if you want it. So for this bundle, I recommend the $10 tier, and the reason why is because the average sits around $6, and for $4 more you get a game like the LEGO Star Wars Complete Saga, and if you played other LEGO games before, you know they're fun, immersive, and a great waste of time. So if you guys liked today's video, definitely subscribe for more videos like this, and check in this Thursday for the next weekly bundle.